Take off your mask. Now.
Alessandra was a disfigured and cursed debutante. Would this man be able to look past her scars? Her story started like this. Alessandra's stepmother slapped her across the face just because she wanted some food.
Please give me some food, Mother. I'm so hungry. My stomach hurts.
My stomach hurts. Oh, stop whining. Gutter rat.
Please, stepmother. I feel so weak. All I'm asking for is just a little...
Aren't you ashamed of begging like that? You can have the Barrett name, but you will never have the Barrett class. Clean that up, now.
Alessandra was treated like a disease in her own home. Alessandra was born into the wealthy Barrett family, a beloved and lucky baby girl. But her luck ended when her mother ran off with the cesspool cleaner. And her life only got worse when her father, Desmond Barrett, remarried the evil Katrina, who had an even more evil daughter, Kate. And now, Kate had taken Alessandra's place as the pride of the Barrett family.
Aw, don't cry, sister. I snuck you some food. Come on, I'll bring you to it. That's where you belong, you filthy vermin, in the cesspool, like your mother. I mean, she did run off with the lowlife after all.
Don't speak about my mother.
Haven't you heard, Alessandra? I can do whatever I want around here.
It only took Alessandra a moment to realize Kate was wearing spiked jewelry.
Ow! Oh, my mother! Alessandra attacked me. I had to defend myself. She's a monster.
Are you okay, my child?
Look at what you've done. You dirty vermin. You're just like your mother's filthy.
Look at her face. People say Desmond Barrett tortures his own daughter.
The last thing Baron Desmond wanted was a public scandal.
Such a nuisance. Just like her mother, always causing trouble. Why do we even keep her around?
The reason was simple. Alessandra's mother left her fortune and the Barrett estate in Alessandra's name.
I've explained this to you 100 times. If we kick out Alessandra, we'd lose everything.
Well, I refuse to look at her mangled face.
What do you want me to do?
And so, Alessandra would live her life with her face covered in a mask.
Haven't you heard? Her mother put a hex on the girl. Anyone who gazes upon her face dies.
The rumors spread like wildfire, and soon, people avoided Alessandra at all costs. She lived a secluded life within the walls of the Barrett mansion, with her cat Luna as her only friend. But most of all, she missed her mother.
One day, I'm going to wear this and go far, far away from here.
She found solace in the wedding dress her mother had left behind, her tears soaking into the fabric.
See, Mother? Your wedding dress wouldn't look half bad on me. Just needs someone who could stand to marry me, right, Luna?
Even though Alessandra was older, so was her bully.
Hello, dear sister.
Hello, Kate. I thought I heard a little animal in here.
Kate couldn't have found out about Luna, could she?
Animal? Well, no, of course not. So you must be very excited about the party tonight.
Of course I am. It'll be fabulous. Finally, Duke Edgar Collins and I can have some alone time.
Duke Edgar Collins, huh? I heard he used to be very particular.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Nothing. I was just saying that he's eccentric, is all.
Well, you would know all about that, wouldn't you, cursed girl? You know, your mother had such good taste, Alessandra. Too bad we're running out of toilet paper.
You bitch! That was my mother's, and it was the only thing I had left of her.
Sweet sister, the sooner you cut ties with her, the better. She was a whore after all, wasn't she?
Beneath the mask that hid her scarred face, Alessandra remained strong.
My face may be scarred, but you're ugly on the inside, Kate.
Oh, cry me a river. Why don't you run and tattle to Daddy? Oh, wait. Are you scared I might tell him about that mangy rescue cat you're hiding?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What do you think he would do if he found out? Personally, I hope he kills the disgusting creature.
One day, I will escape this place.
Oh, you will never do that, freak. You're not going anywhere. You will die in this castle all alone. I'll send up some table scraps after the party. Toodaloo, sister.
Luna, my mother's dress is all ruined. No, Luna.
Her father and stepmother Katrina hated cats and all animals. Alessandra couldn't afford them to see Luna wandering around.
I won't let them hurt you, Luna.
Alessandra knew that if she were ever caught outside her room, they would punish her. She had to be careful.
Alessandra, what are you doing out of your room?
But she wasn't careful enough.
Tonight is one of the most important nights this family's had in ages. Kate must impress the Duke, and I cannot afford to have anyone seeing you. Do you understand me?
Yes, Father, I will go back to my room.
Alessandra spotted her cat just past her father. She stiffened, hoping not to arouse any suspicion.
I still curse your horrid mother for leaving you with me as a burden. And unless you want to go hungry for the rest of the week, I suggest you don't show your face again.
You gotta be more careful, miss.
It was Mario, the cook.
Luna, Mario, thank you.
Come with me before anyone sees you. Alessandra, what are you doing here? Huh? I don't want you getting in trouble.
Mario was the only person who was still kind to Alessandra, or at least, that's what he wanted her to believe.
I know. My goodness, it's busy in here today, huh?
You have no idea.
The whole castle had lost their minds over the arrival of Duke Collins. The staff had never seen a party so big for one single person.
Oh, trust me, I know. All of the girls are basically fighting for a chance to be the Duke's bride. It's ridiculous.
You sound a little jealous. Maybe it's you who wants to get married?
Yeah, right. Like there's a man out there who could see past my scars.
Hey, you'd be surprised.
This kind remark made Alessandra blush. No one ever saw anything in her, apart from her scars.
The only use I have of a husband is to take me as far away from this castle as possible.
Well, I, for one, would miss you.
Mario, do you think the rumors about the Duke are true? They say he's ruthless.
I hear he may be connected to those missing women.
Women had been going missing in Lockwood. And no one knew why.
The missing women? You think the Duke is behind all of that?
I don't want to know. Steer clear of him. That man doesn't play by the rules.
Suddenly, Alessandra and Mario's nice conversation was interrupted by her evil stepmother, Katrina.
What is this mess? Get this kitchen in order before the Duke arrives, or I'll see to it that you all get the guillotine.
But suddenly, Katrina's eyes narrowed in on Alessandra.
And what are you doing here? Sulking around the kitchen like a servant. It's pathetic.
I was just...
You were just leaving. It is Kate's big day, and we can't afford you scaring the Duke off. Now get out of my sight! Go back to your room where you belong. What's our plan for that bitch, Motion?
Not yet, but it will be, my lady.
It turned out Katrina was using Mario for information on Alessandra.
Good.
But what were Katrina and Mario plotting?
Answer me! My patience is running thin, you swine.
Suddenly, Alessandra heard something she wasn't supposed to. Standing across from her father was William Lancaster. The air around him seemed to thicken with malice.
Please, Sir William, just give me a little more time. Once Kate is engaged to the Duke, her dowry will pay off all my debts.
Alessandra's mind raced, wondering how her father had gotten into such a dangerous man's bad graces.
How do you know the Duke will propose?
He will. Kate is beautiful and charming. She'll win him over.
Yes, she is very beautiful. I remember the night you let me spend with her in exchange for your payments being late.
Kate had been sold for a night to William Lancaster, all because her father was late on payments. It was the worst night of her life. Alessandra couldn't believe it. She had no idea her father was in such debt, nor did she know he had to sell Kate's body to pay it off.
You better hope the Duke proposes to Kate. Otherwise, you'll need to find another way to pay your debts to me, old man.
Alessandra was horrified to see Luna had crept into her father's study and was rubbing up against William Lancaster's leg.
What is this disgusting animal? Away from me, beast! Get away!
No!
Sir William threw Alessandra's cat out of the window.
What have you done?
Alessandra, get a hold of yourself!
Is this your other daughter? The one I hear so much about? The cursed one?
Apologies, Sir William. I'll send her off at once.
Oh, don't. I like her fire. So very, very feisty, yes. I find you extremely intriguing.
His gaze roamed Alessandra's body with an unsettling hunger.
Back off me, you creep.
Yes, you are a unique little gem. I think she'd be a great addition to my collection.
Collection, Alessandra thought. Could Sir William be behind all the missing women?
Yes, Desmond, you old buzzard. I think she'd be fine payment for the debts you owe me.
I would never be your...
Have you no grace?
Alessandra tasted blood in her mouth, but refused to cry. She wouldn't give them the satisfaction.
She needs to learn to obey you, Desmond. A little discipline goes a long way.
Get out! Now!
I'm so sorry, Luna. I should have protected you from those monsters. I only wish that they would have thrown me out the window, too. So I could have left this place.
Alessandra needed a plan, an escape plan, but suddenly she heard a grand carriage pulling up to the castle. A man stepped out, tall, broad-shouldered, with an authority that seemed to command the very air around him.
It's Duke Edgar Collins.
Why am I here again?
Why, to find a wife, Your Grace. As per the king's orders.
Even from this distance, Alessandra could see the irritation on his face.
Screw the king. I'd rather marry my horse. I'm only here to get more information about these missing women, Alfred, not love.
But, sir...
Do not but sir me, Alfred. I do not have time for love and affection, and I do not desire to get married, ever.
Duly noted, sir. Now, shall we?
We shall.
No wonder the Duke looked irritable. He was being paraded about like a show pony.
He's not looking for a wife. He's trapped.
Suddenly, Alessandra's plan came into motion. Back in the courtyard, Edgar was steeling himself for what awaited him on the other side of the door.
Kill me now, Alfred?
He had only just arrived, and already Duke Edgar's patience was running thin.
Duke Collins, may I present my beautiful and young daughter, the finest jewel in all the land.
He may have been the most eligible bachelor in town, but he was a man of principle and was disgusted by these desperate mothers begging him to marry their daughters as if they were farm animals.
Lady, are you selling your daughter or one of your cows?
I beg your pardon.
I am not interested. Now step aside, wench.
Everyone was obsessed with Duke Edgar's wealth, and each mother eyed him like a tiger hunting her prey.
Oh, Duke, I have 2 beautiful daughters for you to choose from. Neither speak much, but they will make an obedient bride.
Maybe they don't speak, but it's obvious that you don't listen. I am not in search of a wife, you daft moron.
Well, excuse me, but we did all understand that you were back on the market.
And what absolute idiot said that?
Why, the king, of course. We all heard from the Majesty himself that he couldn't wait for you to have a duchess by your side.
Duke Edgar couldn't believe the king would take their rivalry this far. They played pranks on each other for years, but this was too much. The king knew how much Edgar didn't want to marry, so now Edgar knew what he had to do.
Excuse me. Stop the music. I'm going to say this one time and one time only. All of your daughters are horrid little whores, which makes you all horrid little pimps. I am not seeking a bride. I bid you a good evening. You may resume the music. This is going to be a miserable evening.
As the Duke was ready to leave early, he spotted someone he wanted to speak with.
Oh, Duke Edgar, welcome to my home.
Excuse me. Thank you.
But it wasn't Kate.
Oh, Your Grace. It is an honor to have you join us at this quaint little gathering.
William, I didn't know that this party came with a pest infestation.
Sir William Lancaster was a snake, a creepy lowlife who made antagonizing others a royal sport.
Always the charmer, aren't you? That the charm you're going to use to win over a wife? A wife is what brought you to this den of desperation, is it not?
You would know everything about desperation, wouldn't you, Lancaster?
The Duke was implying that William Lancaster was behind the string of abductions.
Do you really believe that I don't think that you're behind these missing women? That you don't have trinkets locked in your basement for your own amusement?
I despise that accusation. I'm simply a collector of companionship, nothing more.
But Duke Collins knew better than to believe a word out of Lancaster's mouth.
I'm neither blind nor dumb. I know you have your filthy hands in this. And when I can prove it, you'll be hanging from the gallows.
What a vivid imagination you have, Edgar. But alas, I'm simply here to enjoy the party. I suggest you do the same. Why don't you get your cock wet? It might do you some good to get that little dickety-do some play.
Duke Collins, it's an honor to have you here tonight. I was afraid you wouldn't come.
Let's skip the pleasantries, Baron. You know why I'm here.
Yes, of course I do, Your Grace, but what kind of host would I be without offering you a drink first?
I don't want a fucking drink.
Baron Desmond had sent Duke Collins a note, claiming he had information about the missing women. Had he wasted the Duke's evening and baited him with a false promise?
Now, either you have something useful to tell me, or I'm going to make you regret for wasting my time.
Baron Desmond's eyes darted around the room, clearly desperate to avoid a scene.
Yes, of course, Your Grace. I'll fetch it upstairs.
Good. Now hurry up and do it.
But Duke Collins wasn't off the hook just yet, because Baron Desmond had a very specific reason for luring him here tonight.
Forgive me, milord, but I see that you've been ignoring the eligible young ladies tonight. Well, my daughter Kate.
Duke Collins couldn't believe Baron Desmond's gall.
Do I look like a shooting star to you, Baron? Or a lucky penny? Or a freshwater well? Or maybe some candles on top of a birthday cake?
I apologize, Your Grace. I don't think I understand.
Well, you seem to think that I'm here to just grant wishes. Let me be clear. I am not interested in marriage, nor in playing matchmaker with your hog of a daughter. Now, run along and get me the information that I need. Now.
Yes, Your Grace.
The thought of fresh air and a moment of solitude was the only thing keeping Duke Collins from storming out of this pathetic charade entirely.
We need to expedite the timeline. I want that deformed monster out of my house. You're sure she doesn't suspect a thing?
Not a thing. She's always believed I'm her only friend.
Pathetic. The creature doesn't have a friend in the world. Well, not anymore. Can't be friends with a dead cat.
Duke Edgar knew they were talking about Alessandra, the Baron's other daughter, the masked one.
Can I just have a second?
Pardon me, my lord.
It was her, Alessandra.
Oh, it must be my fault lurking in the shadows.
What are you doing out here alone? Party is inside.
I'm very much aware of that, Alessandra. What? You don't think I know who you are? Who else would be wearing the mask in the Baron's home with the supposed cursed daughter?
Are you scared of me?
No. I've seen many scarier things in my day. A simple mask does not scare me.
Alessandra wrinkled up her nose, disgusted with the smell of his cigar.
I think it's gonna kill you if you don't stop.
Oh, I do hope it speeds up the process. Do I scare you?
In that moment, Alessandra chose to be coy. She couldn't let him into her game too soon.
I don't know who you are, to be honest.
Right. Sure. I'll play along at your little game. I am Edgar Collins, but you can just call me Edgar.
The Duke.
One and the same.
Alessandra chose her next words carefully, treading lightly.
They say you are to marry. Is that why you're here? For my sister, Kate?
No, I would rather kill myself. No offense.
Well, you don't offend. I pray to God every night that my horrible sister dies.
None of those young women in there shall be my wife. They are all just like a matching doll set.
Alessandra knew this was her moment, her chance to get away from her selfish father, her evil stepmother, her cruel sister, this whole entire hellscape.
And what about me? If I were to ask you to marry me, what would you say?
The Duke was caught off guard. Yes, Alessandra was scarred, but she had a rather nice figure hidden under her outdated clothes.
What none of you seem to understand is the fact that you would be setting yourself up for a loveless marriage if I were to pick you.
What if it's not love that I'm after?
You'd fall for me.
I doubt it. In fact, what about a contract?
Edgar was extremely suspicious of Alessandra's eagerness.
Did your pathetic father put you up to this?
My father does not know that I'm out here speaking to you, Duke Edgar. This is all me.
Well, it sounds like you live a pretty horrible life within these walls. If you were to do something as drastic as to come up to a complete stranger and ask him to marry you.
I am dying within these walls. Day by day, piece by piece, I am neglected. I'm unloved. I do not care about your looks, Duke Edgar, nor your money, nor your frightfully scary reputation. I just...
So you did know who I was.
Please, I only wish to leave this place and never look back.
Edgar started to believe Alessandra. Still, he wasn't looking to entertain the idea of being married to her just yet.
What are you offering then? Because you, as a businesswoman, are awfully verbose.
The king wants you to marry. You wish to piss off the king?
Yes.
So marry me and get him off your back.
Suddenly, Edgar realized he may have underestimated Alessandra.
It is not hard for me to get an actress to play my wife.
If it were so easy, you would have done so already.
We're old friends, the king and I, since childhood. We used to play these games back and forth, but he's taken it too far this time.
Mess with him right back. Choosing a wife like me would surely drive him mad with confusion.
You know, you're not like the rumors say, reclusive and simple. You're smart.
And you are said to be a monster, yet you seem human to me. I do what I must to survive, and I do not have time to waste.
But against all odds, this offer was intriguing.
Wait. I will accept your terms, but I do have a few of my own.
I'm listening.
First, you remove the mask.
But I...
Do not tell me that you are cursed. Only children believe children's tales.
No, it's not that. It's
Besides, I am going to see you bare on our wedding night, so I find it only fair that I get to see your face now. Take off the mask now.
What is behind Alessandra's mask? Can Duke Collins look beyond her scars?
Alessandra Baird, eh? Interesting. Very interesting.
What was that? Did your father put you up to this?
My father has no idea that I'm out here speaking to you, Duke Edgar. No one was supposed to see me pass by. No one is supposed to see me, ever.
Alessandra replied with the honest truth. Not many people had ever seen Alessandra since the Baron kept her out of sight. Alessandra wasn't of any use to him, thanks to the mask she wore and the rumors surrounding her.
I do what I must to survive. But if you're not interested in doing a contract with me, then I shall leave you be.
When Edgar did not respond, she took another step, thinking the man did not want any plans in what she was offering him. But then, he surprised her.
Meet me in my residence tomorrow. We will discuss further details there, and then I will give you my answer.
Really?
Alessandra was surprised he was actually contemplating her offer, but was even more surprised Edgar wanted her to meet him at his residence.
But I never leave here.
I gathered that much from all of your sneaking around this place. Think of it as a test. I want to see how determined you are. I've spent far too much time at your home, but hopefully I'll see you again soon.
Edgar turned on his heel to go back inside to find her father. Alessandra began to panic as she thought of how she would meet with the Duke tomorrow. Was he really taking her seriously? What if this was all a joke and a crowd awaited her tomorrow only to laugh at her?
We shall see each other tomorrow.
She promised.
Oh, Duke Edgar!
Kate Barrett, the younger daughter of the Baron Desmond, stepped outside. She heard the Duke was all alone and thought to give him some company. Seeing the Duke walking away while her father's daughter Alessandra was standing outside made her blood boil. Kate thought highly of herself. She used her looks to elevate her position amongst her peers. She believed she was more beautiful than anyone else. Dressed like a doll, Kate was hoping to have a word with the Duke and catch his interest.
We shall see each other tomorrow.
She begged her father to have a moment alone with the Duke, but Alessandra had stolen it away from her.
I hope she has not offended you, Duke Edgar. She was not supposed to be out here.
Kate glared at Alessandra, warning her to run away. Edgar stopped right beside Kate.
She has not offended me, not like your father has.
Thank goodness. She can...
It might be due to me being an only child, but shouldn't you be referring to her as your sister, or maybe even her name?
Edgar quickly picked up that the younger girl did not like the older one. Seeing the Duke speaking to her sister, Alessandra used this chance to run away before any of them would ask her to speak. Now that Kate knew she had spoken to the Duke, all hell would break loose tomorrow. Edgar listened quietly to the sound of Alessandra running away, while Kate tried to think of a good answer to what he had asked her. He wondered what Alessandra was so afraid of when it came to Kate.
You are correct, Duke Edgar. You see, when siblings argue, we tend to do petty things to one another. But I do love my sister. But, as you can see, she is extremely shy and can be awkward at times. That is why I was concerned that she might have offended you.
Kate put on her mask of being a good sister. She would do anything to make the Duke see she was a good person. There was no one else she saw worthy of being her husband.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
I am sorry.
Kate was caught off guard by him denying her advances.
You see, Duke, I had hoped for some alone time between the two of us. I wish to show you that I could make an excellent choice for your wife.
Edgar was annoyed with Kate, who could not take a hint. The Baron and his wife raised her to be like a spoiled princess. Fortunately, he had experience with an actual spoiled princess to know how to handle Kate.
What is it with this misconception that I am only looking for a wife that pleases me in bed?
You visit the red light district.
Edgar shrugged his shoulders, not seeing what that had to do with his future wife.
And what if I were to go there to read a book?
It is awfully loud there.
Enlighten me. How do you know of how loud it is there?
Edgar grinned, enjoying the sight of Kate realizing her mistake.
What on earth would the Baron's daughter be doing in a place like that? Except for listening to gossip of what others do there.
No, you are misunderstanding.
Kate tried to clear it up right away. She had never visited such a place.
Understand this, Kate. What you are doing now will never entice me. Besides, I've already received a better offer.
My lord!
There are plenty of other suitors to come and rescue you, princess. Excuse me.
Edgar left Kate behind, both utterly confused and embarrassed.
No, go away! Nobody humiliates me like that. No one!
Alessandra took a look behind her to make sure she wasn't followed this far. What she heard when she walked into the kitchen was nothing but chaos. Servers running all around, trying to get the food out to the guests. She called for the cook. No one seemed to realize Alessandra was in the kitchen as they scurried about. And Alessandra preferred that they did not notice her.
It tastes a bit bland, don't you think?
Mario spotted Alessandra and turned to another cook.
Cover for me.
The last thing Mario wanted was for Katrina or Baron Desmond to see Alessandra here.
Follow me.
They did not deliver my food.
Mario closed the door behind them, releasing Alessandra's hand now that they were outside.
It's that witch's fault.
The Barretts had recently laid off half the staff. There were not nearly enough workers to get the daily tasks done. And now, Baron Desmond and Katrina were hosting a massive party. Mario was frustrated and exhausted. He wondered why they suddenly wanted to have this many guests over.
Duke Collins is looking for a wife, haven't you heard?
Mario scoffed upon hearing this.
So that's why. They're throwing a whole party just for Kay to meet the man. I can only imagine she's like a fly bothering him right now.
I've spoken to him.
With the Duke? About what?
Mario did not see any reason for Alessandra to meet with such a man. He heard many stories concerning Edgar.
Allie, there are many bad stories about him.
Well, there are many stories about me and my mask. Do you believe those?
She asked, although she knew the answer. She was in no position to listen to rumors about others when the ones about herself were false. Mario went silent as he had most definitely heard what people said about Alessandra.
Her mother put a hex on the girl. Anyone who gazes upon her face dies.
He had never seen her face, but he didn't believe it could possibly cause death.
Of course, I don't believe the stories, Allie.
Well, then I shall give the Duke a chance. I cannot tell you what I spoke to him about, but I'm hoping for some good news.
Is this concerning your escape plan? I do hope the Duke helps you get far away from here. It's a shame you can't go on your own. But with all the girls disappearing...
I hope they find the culprit and that the girls are still alive.
I overheard your father claiming to know something about it when I delivered him coffee. I was hired as a cook, but they have laid off so many people that I am now a maid. It would be nice to be paid for the extra work.
Mario, when I get out of here, you should come with me. You've always been so kind to me. I wish to return the favor.
That is so nice of you. But I still owe the Baron from the money that I borrowed. It's gonna take me at least a year to pay it off. But then I will find you. You're the only Baron I can stand. I don't know what went wrong with the others.
If not for Alessandra, he would have thought the entire family was unbearable.
Mario, I have a favor to ask. Well, two. I am not close with the coachman, but you are. Will you speak to him about taking me somewhere tomorrow without telling my family about it? He might be scared of me and run away before I get to speak to him.
Mario was the only person she spoke to like this, as he did not believe the rumors about her killing people after they saw her face, or the rumors of her actually being a ghost.
That won't be a problem. I take it this trip has something to do with the Duke. I am wary of him, Alessandra. Even if you don't want to believe the rumors before meeting a person, there are still things that you need to keep in mind and be cautious of.
Mario was not a fan of Edgar.
I will take your advice, and I will be cautious. Besides, I have my trusty little knife.
She took a small knife out from the pocket of her dress. Mario had stolen it a while ago and gave it to Alessandra as protection.
If he tries to do anything, then bang.
Be reminded that this is a knife, not a pistol. Now, what was that second favor you wanted to ask?
But someone inside the kitchen suddenly yelled out.
Food. Please.
Right away. I must get it before they kill me for being away for so long.
While Alessandra patiently waited for him to bring some food, she tapped her finger. Following the rhythm of the faint music coming from inside the home was a song her father loved so much that he played it at every party he hosted. She closed her eyes to imagine what it would be like dancing around to the music, having small talk with others, and enjoying the food prepared. If only she did not have to wear a mask, and the rumors surrounding her didn't make everyone back away in fear when she showed herself. She could be free. She could be...
I got you a little bit of everything.
Mario returned with a plate of food and a jug of something to drink. But upon opening her eyes, Alessandra was met with the reality that she would spend the night alone with her kitten. But suddenly, Alessandra heard a sound at the front gate.
Open up, Barrett! You got debts to pay!
Alessandra's father did not enjoy his wealthy guests peeking around his mansion.
Perhaps we find the party ourselves, gentlemen.
Stop! I mean, welcome, good sires. Allow me to guide you to the ballroom.
Hiding something, are you, Baron? For somebody like you who owes money to more than half of Lockwood, can't say I'm surprised. Where did you get the money for such a lavish affair?
Please, allow me to guide you to the ballroom.
Alessandra knew far too much about the trouble her father was in. Mario noticed Alessandra's mind seemed to be elsewhere.
What's the matter?
Oh, nothing. Just thinking.
Alessandra didn't want to keep Mario from his work, so she quickly accepted his provisions.
Just 3 hours left, and then we finally get some peace.
Alessandra, it'll get better. The rumors, the way you live, your relationship with your father, everything will get better one day.
Mario offered reassurance, as he always did. It was in his nature.
You're trying to give me the whole rainbow at the end of the story.
No.
Mario hated that ridiculous phrase.
When was the last time you saw a rainbow in Lockwood? For all the time I've been in this town, I've never seen one. I say happiness will come when the next shipment of rum arrives.
There was a high chance Mario had already been drinking. He tended to bring up rum whenever he was drunk. Alessandra tried not to judge. Drinking was the only way Mario could bear all the work he had to do around the house. And it seemed he wasn't the only one enjoying copious cocktails tonight.
What? Makes me happy. I slipped you the good stuff.
I don't get drunk easily.
In that moment, it occurred to Alessandra that her high tolerance was probably a result of her frequent rum nights with Mario.
Just enjoy it. You don't have to be drunk to enjoy life, huh? I will see you tomorrow, okay?
Mario had gotten in hot water for leaving the kitchen well on the clock before. He couldn't risk it happening again.
Okay.
The talk with Mario was enough to brighten Alessandra's mood and reassured her that her meeting with the Duke tomorrow would finally get her freedom from her family. When suddenly, Alessandra came upon a maid.
Them are so rude. Why can't they just get their own drinks? Just get your own drinks if you don't like the way I hold them.
Alessandra couldn't help but worry that the maid's reactive behavior could easily get her into trouble. Alessandra decided to warn her.
You shouldn't be so loud if my stepmother hears.
The maid felt fear flood her body the instant she saw the mask. This was Alessandra Barrett, and she'd heard the rumors.
Please! Please don't hurt me!
Hurt you? No.
Unless a food fight sprang up, there was no way Alessandra could hurt anyone.
God, when will people start thinking logically and not believe all the rumors?
I'm just doing my job. Please, milady, don't kill me!
The maid believed the curse. She was worried seeing Alessandra's face was enough to kill her.
I'm not a monster. They are.
What the hell are you doing out here? Get inside. Beat you.
Leave it to Katrina to sniff out an agitated worker. Alessandra swore her stepmother had a sixth sense for hearing when anyone was bad-mouthing her. Alessandra wondered if that would make Katrina a witch or something else entirely.
Maybe she fell from the sky.
Alessandra finally returned to her lowly quarters. Her father would never let his guests wander here for fear of gossip. Knowing she was fully alone now, Alessandra could finally dance freely to the music that wafted from the ball. All she was missing was a fancy dress and a partner. This hall was often dark because the staff didn't upkeep the lanterns over here. But that didn't bother Alessandra.
Was the best song they played all night?
Alessandra hurried to her room. She had to feed her secret kitten that she was hiding.
No, Kitty. Hey, I told you not to come to the door. Oh, if somebody else saw you, they would take you away.
Alessandra nudged the kitten back into her room before anyone could see it.
Oh, no. Come inside.
Alessandra's father unfortunately only liked dogs and would not be on board for a cat in the house.
I swear you eat better than I do.
Okay, fine. Here you go, kitty. Here you go, kitty. Not there. Look at that. Oh, there you go.
With the kitten distracted and the door closed, Alessandra could finally eat in peace. Without her mask on, she was free. There was no one around to criticize her. As she ate in silence, she felt a sudden anticipation for tomorrow's talk with Edgar. She wished tomorrow would come sooner.
Hopefully I'll see you again soon.
But someone close was getting suspicious of Alessandra.
You're hiding something, stepsister? And I'm going to find out what it is.
Alessandra woke feeling more tired than usual.
Milady, breakfast is here.
Suddenly, Alessandra remembered her conversation with the Duke the previous evening. It was very possible today was the day her life would change forever.
Milady? What is she still doing here?
Normally, the maid would just knock and leave quickly out of fear. Now, she was practically begging her to come to the door, which meant someone else was out there, impatiently waiting. Kate's curiosity about what Alessandra spoke about with the Duke must have been bothering her all night long. Though Alessandra was tempted to make Kate wait longer, now was not the time. If she wanted to see the Duke later, she'd need to play the role of dutiful stepsister.
I'd be nervous too if I had Kate breathing down my neck. Your breakfast?
Alessandra was confused why her tray had been placed on the floor today if the maid was still standing there. Suddenly, Alessandra felt a crushing pain in her hand.
Good morning, sister.
Just like Alessandra predicted, Kate had been lying in wait.
I said, good morning, sister.
Good morning, Kate. Run along.
Kate was very annoyed that she had to wait outside of Alessandra's room for so long. If only she had the spare key her father took away.
Did you have fun last night, Alessandra?
Yes.
Yes?
Kate detected boldness in Alessandra and hated it.
Just because you ran into the Duke last night, you think you had fun?
No. It's not that. I had fun in my room last night. The music reached my room.
Is that so? Tell me, what did you discuss with the Duke last night?
Kate needed to confirm with her own ears nothing serious had happened between the Duke and Alessandra. She'd be humiliated if it turned out he'd taken an interest in Alessandra and not her.
I did not notice him standing there as I was passing by. He called my name when I failed to address him, and then he scolded me, and then you arrived.
Kate wasn't ready to accept this was the full story.
What else?
He spoke about marriage and about you as an option. Nothing more, I swear.
Alessandra couldn't stand the pain, but Kate was still deciding if she believed her stepsister. Kate freed Alessandra's hand. She was pleased Edgar had spoken about her, but she wondered. Why on earth was he playing so hard to get last night when the two of them walked back into the party?
Of course he spoke about me, but who would want to speak to you, freak? In any case, you shouldn't have shown him your face yesterday. What if he'd thought himself cursed and then came after us in anger? What would you have done then, freak? Do you think you would have been safe?
No!
Kate pushed every ounce of her force into Alessandra's hand to hurt her as much as possible.
Then stay in your room, you miserable...
Kate, stop it this instant!
Desmond Barrett was hardly shocked to see his youngest daughter hurting his eldest.
But father, The Duke saw her last night, and they spoke.
You did? Why didn't the Duke mention this to me? I'll take care of this, Kate. Move along. Now.
Despite the pain in her hand, Alessandra tried to disappear quickly. A dispute with her father was the last thing she needed.
Alessandra, tell me what happened last night between you and the Duke. And why were you out of your bedroom? You know we were having a party. What if someone had seen you?
Nobody came with dinner last night, and I was hungry. The garden is off limits. I thought I could run by quickly. That is all, Father.
Alessandra's words weren't enough for Desmond. The Duke's seeing her could have ruined Kate's chances of marrying him. And Desmond couldn't afford to let that happen.
Fine. What did you talk about then?
He only asked if he could smoke there and then talk to me about Kate as a marriage candidate.
Really?
He'd been worried Kate did not successfully seduce the Duke last night. But now it seemed she had an effect on him after all.
The Duke is a very strange man. He must want to observe her a little longer. This is good. This is very good.
Edgar was someone Desmond needed to help him crawl out of the debt he buried himself in. It wasn't easy to live as grand as he used to. With his finances decreasing over the years, Kate finding a rich husband was their only hope.
Still, you shouldn't have gone out. What if I changed my mind and someone saw you out there?
Alessandra wondered if her father would rather she had starved.
I'm sorry, Father.
Yes, well, no use in scolding you now. Whoever didn't bring your food is to blame. And as for Kate, well, I'm sorry about your hand. She's just thinking about the family. We could be easily ruined by Edgar.
Desmond was still worried, but from what Alessandra had shared, it seemed she had not offended him. He decided to let the matter go.
You must get terribly bored being in this room all the time, Tell me, what do you need to pass the time? Tell your father, and I shall go fetch it.
Well, now that you should ask, I've run out of things to paint. I wish to paint the town. Could I possibly take an outing to explore new landscapes? I promise I won't let anyone see my face.
Desmond knew Katrina would never agree with this, but if they kept Alessandra locked away, she would try to leave her bedroom more. He concluded that it was best to give her a little bit of freedom, especially after what Kate did.
Promise me, you won't leave the carriage.
Alessandra feared she might go to hell for lying.
I promise. I would never lie to you, Father.
But miraculously, he seemed to believe her. Alessandra's plan was underway, but would she be able to keep her nerve?
Word to me, lady.
Duke Edgar Collins' estate.
Young master, your breakfast.
Alfred found it odd that the Duke was not seated at his desk as he normally was.
Good morning, Alfred. And thank you for the breakfast. Has anyone come to see me this morning?
Are you expecting someone, sir? Should I prepare breakfast for them?
As a little boy, the only times Edgar would look out the window were to look for his mother, so he'd know when to get out of her way.
I am not entirely sure. I extended an invitation to someone last night, but she has yet to arrive.
Duke Edgar was curious to see if Alessandra really would visit him. She was never seen out in public, so her coming all the way here to make a marriage contract with him was an intriguing prospect.
A woman? Visiting in broad daylight?
And what are you trying to say? That I am some sort of whore?
Yes.
Duke Edgar found Alfred's honesty amusing. Had it been anyone else, Duke Edgar would have sent them out, but Alfred was a longtime friend and father figure.
I am not. And you need to refrain from speaking of such things if she were to arrive, because who knows, she might become the lady of this house.
What?
Why are you acting like it's such a surprise if I were to get a wife?
Your exact words when the king suggested that you marry were, I'm never fucking getting married. I'd rather throw myself off the roof and die. But perhaps I misinterpreted those words. Apology.
You know, Alfred, I sincerely believe that I inherited my dramatic nature from you. And I do not plan to get married. Just the woman last night, she was so intriguing. And it would piss off the king and ward off anybody from surrounding me.
I do not understand. How could the lady's coming piss off the king and ward off others?
It will be self-explanatory if she were to come today. So if a Barrett arrives, you let them in. Anyone but the father.
A Barrett? As in Kate Barrett?
This was not who Alfred had in mind to be Duke Edgar's wife.
Pray tell, did you have a drink last night at the party, Edgar?
I stepped out for a quick smoke.
A smoke, you say? Excuse me, while I check on all your cigars.
What the fuck for, Alfred?
Duke Edgar wondered why Alfred seemed to think he'd been drugged.
If you think that Kate Barrett to be intriguing...
Oh, are you crazy? Look, the Baron has another daughter, Alessandra Barrett. The older one?
Thank heavens!
And you are aware of the rumors concerning her, right?
Anybody is better than Kate Barrett in my book. However, we do not know for sure if Miss Alessandra will even arrive. How long has it been since...
Something was definitely amuck outside, but what exactly was it? Alfred opened the door to find a maid, seemingly scared, handing him a paper before going back to her duty.
Someone's seen a ghost.
Alfred started to read the paper.
Oh my. It appears we are in for a surprise, sir. The Lady Alessandra Barrett wishes to have an audience with you.
Duke Edgar was pleasantly surprised Alessandra had come, and earlier than he'd expected.
Well, invite her into my study.
Yes, young master.
And stop bowing, Alfred. You're not some sort of priest. Alessandra Barrett. Interesting person you are.
Edgar wanted to be the judge if Baron Desmond truly had nothing to do with Alessandra wanting to get married to him. Their meeting could very well have been orchestrated. He told the Baron he was going out to smoke, and Alessandra conveniently appeared. And the only thing making Edgar believe this might not be a coincidence was the Baron not sending his younger daughter, Kate. Thanks to Mario's talk with the coachman, nothing about this visit would be mentioned to Alessandra's father.
This is huge. No wonder he's the biggest catch to get married. Duke is filthy rich. Whew. Good morning.
Morning.
Alessandra was surprised he had not flinched when he looked at her mask. She felt a sense of relief that the guards here weren't afraid of stupid rumors. Moments later, the large doors of Edgar's home opened up, revealing a man in butler clothes.
Welcome, Alessandra Barrett. The Duke is expecting you.
Alfred made sure not to stare at her mask, so as not to be rude. He made a mental note to tell the other workers to do the same.
Good morning. Nice to meet you.
Alfred was happy to shake Alessandra's hand. It was rare for Duke Edgar's guests to greet him like this, but Alessandra did it without a second thought.
Come. I'll lead the way.
And so, Alessandra followed him into the estate. The Duke's home took Alessandra's breath away. He appeared to be a collector of many of her favorite paintings. She could have studied them all day. But then she remembered why she was here.
Oh, sorry, I did not get your name.
Alfred.
Nice to meet you, Alfred.
He's in here.
Alfred did not know how Edgar and Alessandra had gotten to the point of wanting to marry one another, but he could tell how nervous she seemed. He smiled to ease her fears. After all, he was starting to like having her around. Alessandra felt her heart skip a beat when the door closed behind her.
I wasn't expecting you to show up. But if you did, breakfast time wasn't my guess.
Was I meant to come in the night? As a thief would?
Her boldness shocked him.
Let's get on to business, shall we?
Alessandra's heart was beating out of her chest. Could she really go through with this? Alessandra lingered by the door, unsure how the Duke would react to her comment. To her relief, Edgar smiled softly. I suppose if you had come by night, my men might have taken you for a criminal. He shrugged, gesturing to the vacant chair across from him. Do take a seat. I'm most curious. How did you manage to leave your father's house, considering you are said to never leave? Did you deceive him, or did he permit you to come? Alessandra carefully considered Edgar's words as she lowered herself into the chair. I am not complicit with my father, Your Grace. In truth, he would never have consented to my visit. He would call me mad to think you would invite me into your home. Does your father dislike you? Edgar inquired bluntly. There was no use in circumlocution when the matter at hand was so pressing. I do not think he dislikes me, no. He is simply ashamed of me. Who would want a daughter with a reputation like mine in a world such as this? This comment cut the Duke in a peculiar way, causing a rare surge in sympathy. It is the duty of a parent to love their child regardless, he said, his voice softening. It is a pity you were born a baron's daughter. Were you born to a family of farmers, they would have cast you off to tend to the land, no doubt, but you would have known love in other ways. If I were the daughter of farmers, Alessandra murmured, they would have no need of me. Perhaps I'd be sold off to the highest bidder rather than hidden behind a mask. Indeed, it is because you are Barrett's daughter that this has come to pass, Edgar remarked, his tone quiet but knowing. In high society, jealousy is a common ailment, particularly among young women. Alessandra did not argue, conceding his point with a brief nod. Someone must have envied you greatly. I can see that now, Edgar continued. But tell me, why would one who has spent most of her life in hiding seek to marry someone as public as myself? Someone constantly in the spotlight? Truthfully, Your Grace, Alessandra said, her voice almost apologetic. I never intended to ask you about marriage. It was merely a thought that slipped from my lips. I was searching for someone to marry, but I never imagined it would be someone of your stature. She took a breath and continued more earnestly. I have considered 3 things, Your Grace. First, you value privacy, so I would not be burdened by constant social demands. Second, I could protect you from the attention of others, particularly from those who would seek to intrude. And third, you are a man who could exert control over my family should they become problematic. Alessandra had spent the previous night contemplating the practicality of such a marriage. A man of Edgar's influence would be the only one her father could not easily dismiss, and the mere thought of escaping her current home filled her with a sense of resolve. True, Edgar mused. I do prefer my privacy, though there are some occasions when social obligations are unavoidable. Family events or functions for business. How could I attend without my wife? It would be dreadfully dull if you remained in hiding. You misunderstand, Your Grace, Alessandra said, meeting his gaze directly. I never hid myself because I wished to. I did so because I was forced to. I would love to see the world, to attend parties, to dance and be seen. My confidence may be lacking, but I do not wish to live in the shadows anymore. Edgar observed her for a moment, a faint hum of contemplation escaping his lips. He murmured. A week ago, I would not have entertained such an offer. But today I find myself curious. Let's see where this leads. He placed a paper before her, the elegant edges of the stationery catching the light. What is this? Alessandra asked, her gaze moving from the paper to him. A contract, Edgar said smoothly. If we are to proceed with this arrangement, it must have terms and conditions naturally. He He pushed the paper, ink, and a quill toward her. "Shall we begin?" Edgar asked, his expression unreadable. Alessandra's pulse quickened. She had not expected him to agree so readily. "Is this too easy?" she wondered, her mind racing. She had thought he might question her further, test her more thoroughly. "What are you waiting for?" Edgar's voice broke her reverie. "Do you not trust me, Alessandra?" "Of course," she said, reaching tentatively for the quill. "Then sign it and be free." This was her chance, to leave all the torture behind. Alessandra gasped as Edgar's fingers suddenly wrapped around hers before she could touch the paper. "What happened to your hand?" he asked, his gaze sharp. He examined the redness around her knuckles, then looked at her other hand, which was unmarked. "Did you injure it?" "It's nothing," Alessandra muttered, quickly pulling her hand from his grasp. "It is something," Edgar insisted. "Now that you will be my wife, I do not take kindly to anyone hurting those I care about. Name the person, and I will see them punished." Alessandra hesitated. "It was an accident, Your Grace. Just Edgar," he corrected. "See to it that there are no further accidents while you remain at home. We will address this matter again later." His tone was resolute. Alessandra looked up from the paper. "You are not my ideal, Edgar," she admitted, her voice matter-of-fact. "So, you have a type?" Edgar asked, his tone teasing, though it seemed as though he wanted to know more. "I was hidden away, but I was not blind." "Now, shall we continue?" Alessandra asked, eager to move past the topic of affection. "Certainly," Edgar replied. "First, you must not speak of this arrangement to anyone, save for Alfred, my butler. He will act as your protector should the need arise. Secondly, we must communicate frankly and avoid letting small issues grow into larger ones. I find that sort of thing irritating." "I agree," Alessandra said, nodding. "And may I keep my mask on until I feel comfortable without it?" "That is entirely your choice." Edgar paused, his gaze fixed on her as he added, "Lastly, we must share the same bed." Alessandra's eyes widened in surprise. "Excuse me, Your Grace. Edgar." He corrected her once more, a hint of amusement in his voice. "Did you think I meant something else?" "Just sleeping, Alessandra. I meant only for sleeping." "Of course, sleeping is perfectly fine," Alessandra stammered, feeling embarrassed. She quickly looked back at the paper. "Is there anything else?" "No, we have covered the basics," Edgar replied. "Anything else can be dealt with in the future, should the need arise. Now please sign it." Alessandra paused, considering. What if someone breaks the contract? Should we not include a punishment clause? Edgar shook his head. The main point is confidentiality. If word gets out that we have entered into this arrangement, it will hurt you far more than it will hurt me. I shall remain a duke, but you will be the subject of ridicule. I trust you understand this. Alessandra nodded, understanding the weight of his words. Lastly, Edgar said, "We shall be married forever." I thought that was understood. He looked at her expectantly. "Be sure to add that to the contract. This is eternity." "Forever?" Alessandra murmured, her disbelief palpable. "Yes, forever," Edgar replied casually. "Do you plan on breaking your vows?" "Till death do us part," he grinned, clearly enjoying the horrified expression on her face. "Well, at some point you will need an heir," she said cautiously. "Of course, my wife shall bear me children, though don't worry, I am in no rush to have a little one running about the house." Edgar's distaste for children was well known. "You wouldn't mind me having your child?" Alessandra questioned, her mind in a whirl. Edgar sighed, meeting her eye. "Yes, I wouldn't mind you having my child. If I did, we wouldn't be discussing marriage. If this is too much for you, we can still disregard it all." Alessandra's brow furrowed slightly, though it was not visible under her mask. "I worry about what a child of mine might have to endure in this world. Others might attach the rumors about me to them." The Duke observed her concern. "Alessandra, you do not yet understand the weight my name carries. Once you marry me, those rumors will disappear. No one will dare speak ill of you, or our child, ever again," Edgar assured her, his tone firm. He knew how to silence gossip. He had ways of making people hush. If you tore out a man's tongue, you would hardly hear a word from him. People would soon learn to keep their opinions to themselves. Alessandra didn't ask how Edgar could guarantee such silence. There was too much truth to his words, and she suspected his power extended beyond what he revealed. He was speaking gently now, but there was a hint of something more dangerous in his demeanor. "We can proceed with the contract, Your Grace," she said, finally beginning to sign her name. Giving him an heir wouldn't be a problem if he could protect the child. Once again, it's just Edgar, he reminded her gently. Sorry, Edgar, she corrected herself. I shall visit your father tomorrow to ask for your hand. This is just to ensure there are no more accidents at your home. He slid the paper from her side as she subtly hid her hands from his gaze. Would you like to stay with me until the wedding? He asked. It is not unusual, though some might think you are pregnant. Forever? Alessandra muttered in disbelief. Forever was a long time. Was she wrong to believe he would only want to do this for maybe a year or two? Wasn't that what the people in the books she read did? Yes, forever. Do you plan to break your wedding vows? Till death do us part. Edgar grinned, enjoying the look of horror on her face. He only planned to get married once, which was why it had to be with someone he could tolerate. At some point, you will need an heir, she said. Did he expect that to happen with her? Of course. My wife shall be the mother of my child, but no need to worry. I am not in the mood to have a child running around my home anytime soon. Honestly, Edgar had a dislike for children. You wouldn't mind me having your child? Alessandra didn't know how she fell into this hole of confusion, but she would really enjoy Edgar's help to pull her out of it quickly. You're starting to annoy me by not understanding what is simple, Alessandra. But I guess it would be a shock for you. Yes, I wouldn't mind you having my child one day, Alessandra. If I did mind, we wouldn't be here discussing marriage. If this is too much for you, we can still ignore all of this. I'm worried what a child of mine would have to go through in this world. Others might attach the rumors about me to the child. Alessandra pictured it in her mind. She wouldn't want anyone to experience being outcasted. Alessandra, you are not aware of the weight my last name carries. Once you become my wife, those rumors would fade away, and no one shall dare talk about you or a child in the future. Edgar had his ways of making people shut up. If you rip out their tongue, you would find it hard to understand a word they say. Eventually, they would shut up. Alessandra did not need to ask Edgar how he could guarantee that would happen. There was obviously some truth to how dangerous he was. She had a feeling he was being considerably nice to her right now with the way he spoke. We can carry on with the contract, Duke Edgar. She started to sign her name. Giving him an heir would not be a problem if she could shield the child. Edgar, he reminded her once again. Sorry, Edgar. I predict it shall take you a while to start calling me by only my first name. I will come to visit your father tomorrow to ask for your hand in marriage. It is to make sure you do not have any more accidents where you hurt your hand. Edgar slid the paper from her side while she hid her hands. Would you like to live with me until it is time for the wedding? It is not uncommon, though some people might think you're pregnant. Absolutely not, Alessandra exclaimed, as she did not want another rumor. The list of rumors about me is good enough. I do not need to add on pregnancy so early. Edgar scoffed, feeling a sense of déjà vu with her response. Anyone who would believe I have gotten you pregnant before marriage would be an idiot anyway. Then again, there are rumors that I sneak women into this house at night. Do you? Alessandra didn't find that hard to believe, but she wanted the answer from his mouth since she rarely believed rumors unless the person confirmed it. Edgar pretended to be offended, to mess with Alessandra. His eyes went wide. He gasped and placed his hand on his chest. I would never. Alessandra felt bad for even questioning it. I'm sorry. But there was some truth to the rumor. I didn't sneak the women in here. They jumped over the gates and my guards caught them. One person who heard about it passed it on to another until the story changed completely. Rumors are such messy things when they are about me. There are some moments when they help me catch criminals. Right. He has been assigned to investigate cases under the king's orders, Alessandra said to herself. I shall hide the contract somewhere safe for no one to find. Now that the contract is over, have you eaten? Alfred can bring you breakfast, or have mine. I am not ready to eat with the work I have to do. I would have been done already if not for your father and his lie. The Baron's party cut into his work time. The information he got from the Baron was not useful in any shape or form. It was something Edgar already knew about the missing girls. I'm sorry. My father used your name to gain a few more guests, and Kate fancies you, which was why my father felt pressured to have you there. Alessandra apologized, even though she had nothing to do with it. She cared for her father and did not wish to see his reputation falter. He loved it more than anything. After her mother ran away, it was the only thing he seemed to love, until he met Katrina. Your father, stepmother, and sister shall not gain entry to my home after we are married. I am sure by now you know the type of people they are, and if you found them to be tolerable, you wouldn't be looking to marry a stranger to get away from them, said Edgar. I don't mind. Alessandra didn't want to see her family too much starting now. I must leave now, Duke Edgar. I told my father I wanted a view of the town for me to paint, and if I do not return on time, he will be angry. I look forward to being married to you. I hope my life becomes a bit more interesting with you around, Alessandra. Come, I will walk you out. Edgar stood up from his seat. He could hardly wait for the king to find out about the woman he was marrying. It would teach the man to stop meddling in his friend's affairs. Thank you. Alessandra accepted the Duke's hand when he came to help her. You have a beautiful home. I am jealous of your paintings. Do you enjoy painting? It was the second time he heard her mention painting. He did not necessarily care about the art. He only brought it because of his mother badgering him to add more to his home. I do. It is relaxing and a fun way to pass time. It takes a bit of practice, but nothing will compare to the feeling when you finally nail the look you've been going for. Alessandra was so focused on talking about paintings, she did not realize she was still holding onto Edgar's hand. Edgar did not mind it, as he liked listening to her speak so fondly about her hobby. Then I shall buy a couple of your works. What? Why? Alessandra choked up. She had never let anyone see her work for them to be able to buy any of them. I am not a professional. I should at least buy it from someone I know. I have no idea who the people are that made the art in my home. Pick out the best ones you have to be placed around my home. I shall let Alfred take down some of the ones I have placed up. Are you crazy? Alessandra asked without thinking. Why on earth would he waste money on her paintings and take down the beautiful ones he had up? No. My doctor said I am not crazy as long as I don't... Never mind. This shall be your home too, so you're free to decorate it as you see fit as the lady of this house. You should add pieces of what you like to make yourself at home, and I shall pay for it. That makes sense, Alessandra muttered, now understanding what he was doing. Shall I prepare an engagement ring for you, or is there no need for it? Alfred appeared beside Edgar at the front door. He stood with his hands behind his back, watching Alessandra leave in her carriage. Prepare the ring for tomorrow morning. We will be visiting the Barretts. Edgar left the doorway once the carriage was almost out of his property. Make sure no one speaks of seeing her here before then. Of course. Alfred closed the door behind Edgar.
Should I also be the one to prepare the gifts for her family? Cigars from my collection for the father, some kind of jewelry for the mother and daughter, and paint for Alessandra. Lots of it. I need some of the paintings taken down, as I will be buying new ones from Alessandra to be placed. Also take away some of the things in my chamber for her to have. You'll be sharing a room,
Alfred exclaimed. Edgar paused to look behind him at Alfred.
Why is that so shocking? She will be my wife, Alfred. Aren't you the one who taught me to follow tradition? Young master, nowhere in the tradition I have mentioned includes this type of situation. Did the young lady agree to sleep with you? I hope you mentioned that to her first. No, I mentioned that last, along with her being the mother of my children.
Edgar continued, walking back to the study.
Children?
Alfred gripped his chest, unable to handle the information.
You're being dramatic again, Alfred.
Edgar refused to turn around to check on Alfred.
I have work to do. If anyone else shows up, turn them away. Don't ask me any more questions, or you will eventually add too much stress to your heart and die. Do you wish to die, Alfred? No, young master. I wish to see these children you speak of. I will get to it right away. Good. We're about to have some fun, Alfred,
said Edgar. Meanwhile, Alessandra nervously sat in her carriage on the way back home. The situation dawned on her once she was away from Edgar and able to breathe normally. She pinched herself to be sure she wasn't still dreaming and had not woken up for the day. I'm going to marry Duke Collins, she said in disbelief. Who would have thought her asking him in the spur of the moment would lead to this? Who would have thought he would go along with it? I'm almost out of there. Today would be her last day dealing with her family. After Edgar arrived tomorrow, neither Kate nor Katrina would be able to interfere with her. They could get upset with her for being the one engaged to Edgar and not Kate, but they couldn't lay a finger on her. She would be Edgar's woman, and he was a man to never offend. I wonder what father would say. Will he finally show more interest in me? Alessandra leaned her head against the wall as she thought about tomorrow. He might try to convince the Duke to marry Kate instead. Oh, tomorrow will be a chaotic day. She closed her eyes, enjoying the peace while it lasted. As the carriage returned home, Alessandra wasn't surprised to see a figure standing with his arms folded by the door. Her father knew his wife wouldn't be pleased about her leaving home, and Alessandra had made sure to leave before Katrina could stop her. First Kate, and now it was Katrina's turn. When the carriage stopped, Alessandra opened her door herself, since everyone was afraid to get too close to her. She kept her head down to avoid looking at Katrina as she walked to the entrance of their home. Good morning, Katrina, she greeted the woman as she neared her. Katrina, on the other hand, did not return the greeting. Your father must have lost his mind to allow you to leave home. Do the two of you wish to sully this house even more? What would others say if they were to learn that you were riding around amongst them? I did not leave the carriage, Mother. Do not call me that. How many times must I tell you that I am not your mother? Your own mother ran away and left you here to be raised by your father. I am not going to do her job for her. Neither you nor your father seems to realize what I have to put up with a person like you. I made it clear you should not be seen. Katrina was furious to learn Desmond allowed Alessandra to leave without consulting her. Do you not understand the trouble you caused for us, Alessandra? Our reputation almost hit rock bottom because of that incident. Never ask to leave this place again, or I will see to it that you may never leave your bedroom. Just the sight of you infuriates me.
Why on earth couldn't you have followed your mother? I'm sorry. Alessandra apologized with her head still low. Get back to your room. Your presence drains my mood, and I am tired of seeing those masks. I cannot wait for the day you shall no longer be here. I hope you enjoyed your day out, since it will never happen again. Ridiculous, Katrina muttered, turning her back on Alessandra to leave. Alessandra touched her mask, making sure it was still in place. She speaks as if they weren't a part of why I wear it. One of the things Alessandra hated was how she had to act timid around her family. She found it best to pretend to be that way and take their scolding, but having to be that way was irritating. The second thing she hated was Katrina's need to constantly bring up her mother, who ran away from her marriage. Katrina was speaking based on what her husband wanted her to hear, and not the entire truth. It'll all be over soon, Alessandra said to cheer herself up. It was unfortunate the day might go by slowly now that she really wanted tomorrow to come quickly. A lot could happen before it was time for Edgar to visit her home. Stay out of sight. It was the best thing to do in order to avoid more accidents happening. Edgar might have already picked up someone who had hurt her hand, but Alessandra did not want to involve him in her family affairs and drama. She was well aware he could punish Kate for her, but she did not wish for that to happen. Alessandra wanted to give her family the life they dreamed about, a life without her in it. Involving Edgar in it would only cause too many problems. It was best to cut ties with her family peacefully, as she did not hold a grudge for the way she'd been treated. Alessandra hurried back to her room to avoid running back into Katrina or meeting Kate again. However, upon reaching her door, she was puzzled to find it slightly ajar, as if someone had been inside of it after she left. It could have been Katrina confirming that her father allowed her to leave. That was what Alessandra hoped, but her anxiety increased seeing Kate standing by her window. Kate, she called out to her sister. You irritate me, Alessandra. Father was mad at me for what happened this morning and for not being able to talk to the Duke last night. It's all your fault, Alessandra. Remember that. The Duke? Kate exclaimed, almost choking on a piece of bread. Mother? She looked to her right. I was not aware that he would be visiting. Desmond, did you know of this? Katrina looked at her husband. There was so much she would have done if she knew the Duke would be paying their house a visit. Desmond was just as surprised as everyone else to hear the Duke was here. Edgar did not leave the party looking too happy after he was given the information about the missing girls. Was Edgar here to kill him? Or maybe there was a chance he was here for Kate. What are you doing standing here? Send the Duke in right away, Desmond ordered the maid. It wasn't right to keep the Duke waiting for so long. Should I change quickly? Kate stood, unsure of what to do. She knew she looked good, but was this good enough to impress Edgar? Sit down. If you run away now and return, it'll be too obvious to Edgar you went and changed. You must not let him know you changed clothes just to impress him. Remember to do as you were taught, Katrina said as she fixed her appearance by looking at her reflection in a glass. Kate did the same to fix anything wrong with what she was wearing. She pushed the biscuits away, regretting how much she had been eating. He's here, she whispered as Edgar entered the room, followed by the man everyone knew to be his butler. There were boxes in the butler's hands, which made Kate wonder if the Duke had brought them gifts, and if so, what was the reason? Good morning, Duke Edgar. To what do I owe this lovely visit? Desmond stood up to greet Edgar. He extended out his hand to shake with Edgar, but it was left hanging in the air. Young master. Alfred took a step closer to Edgar. You are here to marry his daughter. Be nice, he whispered softly. On the inside, Edgar rolled his eyes, but on the outside, he gave the Baron a smile and shook his hand. I have something to discuss with you, Baron. Should we go to my study to talk? Desmond pointed in that direction. He was curious about what the butler told Edgar to make him shake his hand. No, it is something to discuss with your entire family. Looking at the table, Edgar didn't miss how the table was only set for 3 people, which meant Alessandra did not eat with her family. Entire family? Desmond looked back at Katrina. I see. Please have a seat. Would you like something to eat? No. Edgar held up his hand to stop the Baron. I have already eaten. Edgar sat down in an empty seat, purposely avoiding the looks Kate was giving him. Baron, you must be aware of the rumors that I am looking for a wife. After some time to think, I have made up my mind to marry your daughter, Alessandra. Edgar wanted to get this out of the way quickly to see what his future wife was doing. Alessandra! The Baron was certain he heard Edgar wrong, but thanks to the gasp from Katrina and the look of horror on Kate's face, he knew he heard it clearly. Duke Edgar, why would you want to marry Alessandra? There are many rumors around her that will affect your reputation. I am not the type to be concerned about my reputation. There are plenty of rumors surrounding me, so I hope you don't think of how they shall affect your reputation through me visiting, Edgar replied, flipping the Baron's words. Edgar enjoyed the nervousness in the air as the Baron quickly tried to clear up what he meant. You and my daughter are 2 different kinds of people. You are special, and your daughter is not. Edgar glared at the trifling man. He had a low opinion of the Baron, and now that opinion was down below in the underworld. Desmond's palms started to sweat. He did not want to be viewed as a bad father. That is not what I meant. Out of my 2 daughters, Kate would be the better choice. She is the talk of the town and has a long list of suitors, but she has been saving herself for a man like you. Then she shall be fine with my rejection, and I am not so certain about saving herself. The red light district is quite busy these days, said Edgar as he recalled what was mentioned at the Baron's party. What? Katrina looked at her daughter in confusion. Kate would never visit such a place, Duke Edgar. I agree with my husband that Alessandra is not suited for a man like you. Kate has been raised to be the perfect wife. The more all of you talk, I get the understanding that you have completely cast Alessandra aside. Is she not meant to get married? Should she stay with her father her entire life? I will say this only once. I am not interested in Kate. Edgar shot down the advances for the last time. I am here for Alessandra. Where is she? Duke Edgar, it is rude of you to keep asking about Alessandra when we have told you she is not a good choice for your wife. If this is some kind of a joke between you and my husband, it is not funny. Surely you have heard the rumors, Katrina said in a calm tone, but on the inside, she was fuming. Katrina didn't understand why Edgar would come asking for Alessandra. He could not have fallen for Alessandra after the small conversation they had. That was impossible. Who would love someone like Alessandra? I am well aware of all the rumors about your entire family. Is there some reason you are not bringing out Alessandra for her to speak with me? She will need to accept the proposal. Is something wrong with her? Edgar looked to Desmond for the answer. The 3 of them looked nervous each time he mentioned wanting to see Alessandra. Surely she wasn't dead before they officially got engaged. The thing is, Desmond trailed off, uncertain of how to go about the situation. Alessandra needs to be sheltered from the outside world. People who have run into her are never kind, which is why she stays here with me. She's comfortable here with her mask. Kate, on the other hand, take me to her. Baron, outside of me doing this because I want to marry her, there is something truly odd about the relationship you have with your daughter. If there is a single strand of hair out of place, I will see to it that you are punished. Are we clear? Yes, Duke Edgar. I will bring Alessandra to you. Desmond stood up, but Edgar shook his head. Take me to her. Edgar was smart enough to know if he allowed someone to bring Alessandra, they would just threaten her. He wanted to see firsthand what life was like for Alessandra. Outside of the rumors, what pushed her to suggest a contract marriage? Katrina clenched her fists under the table. There was nothing they could do when the Duke was so determined to see Alessandra. If they were to claim Alessandra was sick now, it would only make things suspicious, as if they had done something to her. My poor daughter. Katrina could only think of Kate. Her daughter sat silently, trying to figure out why she wasn't the one chosen. Katrina didn't want her to marry a man crazy enough to propose to Alessandra, but this was the Duke. How could they allow Alessandra to marry a man with such status while Kate was ignored? She had a feeling Alessandra left off way more than what she spoke about with the Duke. Alessandra is not suited for you, Kate spoke up. The shock was over, and now she was ready to fight for what belonged to her. Edgar smiled, enjoying how much they were trying to push him away from picking Alessandra. I know better than anyone else who is suited for me, unless you are questioning my ability to think. Is there a reason I cannot see your daughter, Baron? Do I need to? No, I will take you to her right away. But Alessandra will give you the same answer, Duke. She doesn't like to be seen by others. I don't know what was discussed when you met her, but you might have gotten the wrong impression. Desmond was going to do whatever he could to switch the Duke's attention from Alessandra to Kate. Desmond always thought of the Duke to be strange, but not strange enough to want to marry Alessandra. He was sure once Edgar got a good look at Alessandra now, he would see Kate was a better choice. Baron, you talk too much, Edgar said as he stood up. The more the man talked, the more he was tempted to strangle him. But as Alfred said, he was here to ask for his daughter's hand in marriage, so he had to be nice. What? Desmond was taken aback by Edgar's words. He was merely trying to help him save his reputation. He was not convinced the Duke did not care about his reputation. Everyone did. I'm sorry. This way. He shut his mouth afterward. The Duke would change his mind anyway. Alfred, stay here, Edgar told his butler. Alfred would be his eyes and ears for whatever the two women said or did. Edgar quietly followed the Baron to Alessandra's bedroom. He wondered if she would be happy to see he had arrived early instead of delaying his arrival. Would she be happy to see the expressions on her family's faces? This is it. Alessandra! Desmond knocked on the door. He was hoping she would be sound asleep and would not be able to hear him. But to his surprise, she opened the door after the second knock. We have a guest. The moment Alessandra opened the door, Edgar's eyes went to one thing. It wasn't the blue mask she decided to wear today, but how red her eyes were. What happened? He asked. You see, I asked her, Baron. What happened, Alessandra? Edgar reached out his hand to rub below her right eye, which wasn't covered by the mask. Tell me quickly.
Alessandra glanced at her father for a moment and saw how nervous he was. The Duke must have mentioned marriage already. My kitten was hurt yesterday and has passed away. I am on punishment, therefore I could not leave to bury it. Why are you here, Duke Edgar? She asked, feigning ignorance. I have come to ask for your hand in marriage, but your family seems to think it is a bad decision. What do you think, Alessandra? Will you say yes? I accept your proposal, Duke Edgar. Father, I would like to marry the Duke. Desmond was surprised to hear Alessandra accept Edgar's proposal, but he kept himself reserved.
Alessandra, the Duke is not an ordinary man. You'll be in the spotlight after you marry him. Why don't you take some time to think about it,
Desmond tried to usher her back into her bedroom, but Edgar placed his foot to block him from going near Alessandra. A small smile appeared on Alessandra's face upon hearing this. For the Duke to propose to anyone's daughter was a great honor, but as it was her and not Kate, her father was against it. Typical. I don't need time to think about it, Father. I wish to marry the Duke, Alessandra said, ignoring the look her father gave to her for not listening. She looked at the Duke instead. I would be honored to be your wife, Duke Edgar.
Wonderful. I have prepared your family a couple of small gifts for this moment, Baron. My butler has the gifts if you wish to see them now. I would like to have a word with your daughter. Alone?
Edgar added so the Baron would get the clear hint to leave. Gifts? Desmond's eyes lit up, hearing the one word. He heard nothing else Edgar said to him. He thought about the situation quickly now that there would be gifts involved. Edgar was a stubborn man, so pushing Kate when he clearly did not want anything to do with her wouldn't work, no matter how much they tried. Kate needed to seduce the man on her own. Alessandra was shy and needed guidance. Therefore, the Baron knew he could control and use her to get the Duke to help him out of the financial hole they fell in. Also, with Alessandra close to Edgar, Kate still had a chance to woo him before the wedding could happen. The big problem was Katrina. She might kill him if he allowed Alessandra to become Edgar's fiancée. He knew he had no choice but to keep pushing for Kate.
I can make this work in my favor.
Desmond mentally calculated all that he could gain from this.
Baron.
Edgar snapped his fingers in front of the Baron's face. They had been waiting a good minute or so, watching the Baron just stare at nothing.
Duke Edgar, well, I am honored you have taken an interest in Alessandra. As her father, I know what is best for her, and I shall decline your proposal. Again, I suggest you consider my daughter Kate. Alessandra, would you be so kind to step into your room for a moment?
Edgar said with a smile, but it was evident it didn't reach his eyes. Alessandra nodded, stepped back into the room, and closed the door. She jumped when there was a loud thud on the other side, like someone had run into her door. She didn't flinch the second time she heard the noise again. Is this the Duke's way of convincing someone? She asked herself. Her poor father must be trembling in fear. Why did she have to miss that sight?
Alessandra,
her father called, followed by a knock after. That fast, she muttered, opening the door to hear her father's decision. Alessandra watched Edgar fix the cuffs of his shirt, while her father looked distraught. He was here to ask for her hand in marriage, not cause a funeral.
After some time to think, it would be wonderful if you could get married to Edgar. He wishes to speak with you, so I shall leave.
Desmond ran off the first chance he got. His back was aching, thanks to Edgar lifting him up to throw him against the door. "What did you do and say to him?" asked Alessandra. It had to be something damaging to make her father give up on pushing Kate as his wife. "I am a man with a lot of information, and your father is a man with a handful of crimes in his pocket. I'll allow one of them to slip by this one time, but after we are officially married, I can't help it if he is investigated for them," said Edgar. "Wow," was the only thing Alessandra could say. She was amazed by how easy it was for him to threaten someone to get what he wanted. Knowledge certainly was power, and whatever the Duke knew scared her father. "Do you ever worry that others will kill you for knowing their business?" "If I am always one step ahead of them, I have nothing to worry about. Do not worry. Your husband will not die anytime soon." "Can I come in to talk? Anyone could be listening to us." Edgar looked down the empty hall, but he knew looks could be deceiving. And sometimes walls had ears, thanks to secret places in homes. "Oh, right." Alessandra stepped aside for him to come in. She did not care about what gossip could form by him coming into her room alone, as they were going to be married anyway. "It's not as grand as your home, but it is my space to get away." "Seems more like a prison." Edgar had enough of them on his property to know a holding cell when he saw one. "This is your art." He picked up one of the canvases she had stacked up against a wall. "I prefer not to call it a prison. That would make my life seem much sadder. I like to think of it as the only place where anyone could be free." Alessandra intently watched Edgar inspect her bedroom. "From the looks of your family, I could see why you think that. Are you not allowed to leave here? Why weren't you at breakfast? Or was that your own choice?" He carefully placed the canvas back in its place. "I am on punishment," Alessandra said, not keeping what happened a secret. "Kate threw my kitten out the window, but as always, no one believes how she is. I am meant to be here until I'm ready to apologize." "If you do, I will not marry you." Edgar wanted her to have more of a backbone and no longer give in to what her family wanted. "I never planned to. My kitten died because of Kate's jealousy, and I would never apologize for how angry I'm feeling. I have to bury it once the punishment is lifted. Edgar, is it still an option for me to come and live with you until we get married?" Alessandra no longer wanted to stay with her family. Edgar leaned back against a wall, folding his arms. "No." Alessandra didn't understand why he wouldn't agree to it when he was the one to mention it first. "Why not?" "Alessandra, I won't have a wife who allows others to walk over her. Don't let them run you away from here with your tail between your legs, or allow them to torture you any further. You are going to be my wife. My name carries more power than you seem to realize. Use it," he advised her. Alessandra might not notice it yet, but things were slowly starting to change due to this one visit. Her family could no longer lay a hand on her because of her soon-to-be husband. "I did not want to use your name to deal with my family drama. I just wanted it to be able to leave," Alessandra replied. "It would feel wrong. You marrying me is already more than enough." "Do not run away from here a coward, Alessandra. Gracefully leave this place with your head up. I don't care how you use my name to torture these people here. Just do it. Stop pretending to be afraid because you think it's safer to cower than to fight back. That act you do ends now. Don't you agree?" Edgar extended his hand out for Alessandra to take for them to rejoin her family. "Start gaining that confidence you spoke of." There were a lot of things Alessandra wanted to do in her home if she had someone to back her. Not that she did. She almost let the opportunity slip to do as she pleased. Deep down, she was glad the Duke was pushing her in this direction. She was wearing more than one mask in her life. The physical one to hide her face, and the one she used to act timidly in front of her family. One of those masks had to come off today. Yes, she accepted Edgar's hand. Desmond, you cannot be considering Alessandra being the one to marry the Duke, Katrina said when Desmond returned to the table. He is hell-bent on marrying Alessandra, and she has agreed. I have no choice but to entertain it. Desmond took up a napkin from the table to clean the sweat dripping from his forehead. He threatened me. Still, we have to think about Kate here. Do you know how embarrassing it will be for her to lose Edgar to Alessandra? For heaven's sake, the girl wears a mask. Has the Duke seen her face? Something isn't right. Katrina couldn't make sense of what was happening. Did you find out what was said between the two of them the night of the party? Alessandra had to be lying. She must be threatening the Duke, Kate concluded. It was the only thing making sense to her. Kate, how on earth would Alessandra be able to threaten a man like Edgar when she is always here? Desmond was trying to make sense of the situation, but the theory Kate came up with was ridiculous. I have said many times that man is unpredictable. We will never understand why he picked Alessandra. Father, you can't allow him to marry her. I have worked too hard for a moment like this for it to go to Alessandra. She's only agreeing to this to irk me. I will speak with the Duke. Kate's chair screeched as she stood up. There was no way she would lose to Alessandra again. Speak with me about what? Edgar asked as he entered the dining room, but he was not alone. Alessandra was right beside him, holding his hand as she walked. I'm sure the Baron has told you the good news, that Alessandra and I shall wed soon. Alfred, the gifts? Yes, young master. Alfred moved as quickly as he could to place each of the gifts in front of the 3 family members. There will be more gifts to be delivered here, but this is just a small taste of what is to come. I hope it is to your liking. Do you wish to sit, Alessandra? Edgar pulled out a chair for her. Thank you, Alessandra replied and took a seat in the chair. The first person her eyes went to was Kate, since her sister was the one watching her the most. You have not opened the gift, Kate. You? Kate started, but stopped herself when she met the Duke's eyes. They were daring her to say something he wouldn't like. Why is he acting like this now? She thought. Alessandra, please enlighten us about what is happening. Why did you say yes to the Duke? You are not one to want to get married, said Katrina. No one has ever asked me, Mother. I am thrilled to marry a man like the Duke. I've heard many good things about him, thanks to Kate. Isn't he a good man, Kate? Alessandra glanced at her fuming sister. He was mine, Kate replied, ignoring her father, signaling for her to shut up. She sat back down, unable to stand and watch the Duke be protective of Alessandra. I don't remember ever giving you that idea, Kate. I thought we had gotten rid of the drug which causes one to see things that are not real. Are they still around, Baron? Edgar said as he stood over where Alessandra sat. Of course not. It has been gotten rid of a long time ago. As I recall, you took quite a few of them. I would hate to know your younger daughter has gotten her hands on them. If that is the case, I shall pity her desperate attempts to gain my affection.
when I stated I would never have any romantic feelings for her. I can take you to get treated, Edgar offered Kate. Her delusion in thinking they were something more than strangers irked his soul. I would have been able to take you at the same time I would have taken Alessandra's kitten to be healed, but it has unfortunately passed away. To be thrown against something is quite painful. Isn't that right, Baron? Edgar subtly recalled his earlier conversation with the Baron. Yes. Desmond could still feel the pain from being thrown against Alessandra's door by Edgar. No offense, Duke Edgar, but you cannot waltz into our home and get involved with our family issues. You are not married to Alessandra as yet. Whatever happened to the kitten is none of your concern. Alessandra knows there are no pets allowed. Katrina did not want the issue with the kitten discussed, since Kate's name would be mentioned. Forgive me. Alessandra is now my fiancée, and anything that makes her upset concerns me. I care for her so much I could kill anyone who upsets her. Edgar glared at Kate. He had a feeling out of the three, Kate was the one harming Alessandra the most. He had one thing in common with Alessandra so far, a dislike for Kate. Kate fidgeted in her seat as she picked up on the warning Edgar was sending her. She clenched her fists out of anger under the table, to the point her nails were painfully digging into her skin, but she didn't feel anything. Edgar placed his hand on Alessandra's shoulder for her to start speaking up. I have not eaten yet. Please, set the table for me, Mother, Alessandra said to Katrina. Katrina scoffed, disgusted by Alessandra calling her mother and ordering her to set the table for her. She's finally showing how crazy she is. Katrina bit her tongue to refrain from arguing with Alessandra. The Duke was standing behind Alessandra defensively, like an animal waiting to attack anyone who offended its master. Katrina had many things to say to Alessandra, but she would wait for when the Duke left. Katrina, do it now. Desmond felt like he was the only one seeing the gravity of the situation they were in. The Duke, for some reason, was smitten by Alessandra, which meant they could not trouble his daughter or Edgar might truly kill them. Desmond knew the true face of Edgar Collins, unlike his wife and daughter. The man was merely toying with them right now, but once he got bored, his true personality would show up. Thanks to the punishment, I have not eaten since yesterday morning. You have to hurry before the food becomes cold, Mother. Alessandra made sure to add emphasis to the word mother to get under Katrina's skin. She planned to make this house uncomfortable for the three of them, just as it was for her. I will be back. Katrina suddenly didn't mind leaving, since she needed to grab hold of something to break. Why aren't there maids stationed in the dining room to fetch whatever you need? Asked Edgar. He knew the Baron was running low on funds, but he did not know it was this bad. Why did the idiot just throw a party when he could have used that money to hire more workers or to invest in something? Desmond's forehead continued to sweat as he felt embarrassed. If you had given me a notice you would be arriving, I would have placed the maids in here to serve you and Alessandra well. You're saying I should have given you a heads up so you could place an illusion as if you have many workers? Edgar saw right through Desmond's bullshit. Alessandra smiled, enjoying her father being called out and the sight of him unable to talk back to the Duke. She realized now that her father could only pick on those he viewed as beneath him. Alessandra finally saw how pathetic he truly was. While Alessandra was enjoying her father breaking down, the sight of her smiling angered Kate even more. Are you enjoying this, Alessandra?
This is ridiculous, Kate scoffed. Don't think this will last long. You should work on getting over your jealousy, Kate. Green is not a good look for you, Alessandra replied. Edgar snickered due to the fact Kate was wearing a green dress, so Alessandra's words had a double meaning. He wanted to applaud her for slowly coming out of her shell. You! Kate smacked the table and abruptly stood up. Do you think his interest in you will last long after he sees what is under that mask? Edgar, before you confirm this marriage, shouldn't you take a look at her face? Aren't you curious about what she's hiding? She's truly repulsive once you see it. Shall we show him, Alessandra? Alessandra could not respond to Kate's words. She could not show Edgar her face yet, as she was not that confident. There is no need for me to do that, Edgar answered in place of Alessandra. I have seen her face without the mask before. How dare you stand here and lie about her face to me? Alessandra's eyes went wide upon hearing his confession. She could not place where the Duke would have ever been able to see her face without the mask. She only took it off in her bedroom. Unless he saw her when she was younger, before the accident happened, and she chose to wear a mask.